One photo was enough to stop the internet. Not a dramatic teaser. Not a concert clip. Not even an official comeback trailer. Just a close-up face shot of Kim Taehyung on the cover of Rolling Stone. And somehow, that single image immediately became one of the most talked about moments among fans in May 2026. As BTS continues their massive global comeback era through the Apperance album and world tour, the group has now received one of the biggest magazine features of the year, a special Rolling Stone May 2026 edition featuring 8 separate covers, 1 full BTS group cover, and 7 individual covers dedicated to each member. But among all the covers released, Taehyung's immediately captured enormous attention online. Fans described it as cinematic, powerful, mature, intimidating, unforgettable. The image itself was simple. A close-up shot focused almost entirely on Taehyung's face, expression calm yet intense, with minimal distractions surrounding him.
No exaggerated styling, no dramatic props,
just presence. And according to many fans, that simplicity is exactly what made the cover feel so powerful. Within hours of release, screenshots and behind-the-scenes clips from the photo shoot spread rapidly across Instagram, X, TikTok, Reddit, and fan communities worldwide. The response was immediate and emotional, with many fans claiming the photos represented a completely different side of Taehyung than they had seen before. Not louder, not flashier, but somehow bigger. This reaction has sparked growing speculation online that 2026 may become the year Taehyung fully steps into a broader global artistic identity beyond the traditional idol image associated with him for years. And interestingly, the Rolling Stone interview itself only strengthened those discussions. During the feature, Taehyung reportedly opened up about several deeply personal topics, including his future solo career, acting ambitions, military service experience, personal growth after enlistment, and BTS's Apperance era. Fans immediately focused on one particular statement regarding military service, where Taehyung explained that the experience reset his mindset. He also reportedly joked that he now feels like the physically strongest member in BTS after completing service. Although part of the comment was humorous, many fans noticed something deeper hidden within his overall tone throughout the interview. Compared to previous years, Taehyung now appears significantly more grounded, self-aware, and emotionally composed. And that emotional maturity seems to be shaping every aspect of his current image. For years, Taehyung has always been one of BTS's most fascinating figures because of his unpredictability. Fans loved how difficult he was to define. One moment playful and chaotic, the next introspective and emotionally distant. But in 2026, many fans believe that unpredictability has evolved into something more refined. Now, instead of seeming emotionally scattered, Taehyung appears emotionally controlled, intentional, comfortable with silence, comfortable with simplicity. And perhaps nothing represented that transformation more clearly than his Rolling Stone cover. Because despite the lack of dramatic styling or loud concepts, the image still commanded enormous attention online. Fans repeatedly pointed out how little was actually needed to make the photos feel impactful.
no extravagant pose,
no complicated fashion setup. The emotional intensity came entirely from Taehyung's expression and atmosphere. That ability to create emotional weight through stillness is becoming one of the defining themes surrounding him in 2026. Some fans even described the cover as feeling less like an idol shoot and more like a film poster. That comparison has appeared constantly throughout discussions surrounding Taehyung lately. Cinematic. The word now follows almost everything connected to his current image. Stage presence, fashion choices, interviews, performances, magazine shoots, and many fans believe this cinematic identity is not accidental anymore. Instead, they think Taehyung may be consciously shaping a more timeless artistic image, one that exists beyond trends or temporary promotional cycles. The timing of the Rolling Stone feature also made the response even bigger. BTS's 2026 comeback already carries enormous emotional weight globally. After years of individual growth, military service, solo activities, and evolving public identities, Fans view this comeback period as a completely new chapter for the group. And Taehyung's current image feels especially transformed within that chapter. His appearance throughout the Rolling Stone feature seemed calmer than before, but also more confident. Not the type of confidence built through loud charisma or overwhelming energy. Instead, it felt rooted in self-awareness. Fans noticed it immediately during behind-the-scenes footage from the photo shoot. Even in simple clips of Taehyung standing between camera takes, adjusting poses quietly, or listening to direction from staff, fans continued describing the same feeling. He doesn't even need to try anymore. That statement has become increasingly common during the Arirang era. Because Taehyung's influence now appears less connected to dramatic performance and more connected to emotional presence. And that presence feels unusually strong in 2026. Many fans believe his military service may have played a significant role in this transformation. During the interview, Taehyung reportedly spoke openly about how enlistment changed his perspective and mentally reset him. Fans interpreted this as more than physical growth. They believe the experience may have helped him become emotionally calmer, more disciplined, and more internally grounded than before. That maturity now seems visible in nearly every public appearance. Whether performing on stage, interacting with fans, or participating in interviews, Taehyung increasingly carries himself with quiet certainty. And audiences are reacting strongly to it. The excitement surrounding his future solo career also intensified after the interview release. Although Taehyung did not reveal specific details about upcoming projects, fans immediately began speculating about what direction his next artistic chapter might take. Many believe his future work could become more cinematic, more narrative-driven, more emotionally personal, and potentially connected to acting or visual storytelling. His comments about acting especially reignited long-running discussions among fans. Given his screen presence, expressive subtlety, and naturally cinematic image, many now believe a serious acting return may eventually become inevitable. And if that happens, fans think his current image evolution makes perfect sense. Because more than ever before, Taehyung now feels like someone existing between multiple artistic worlds simultaneously. Music,
Fashion, cinema,
photography, emotional storytelling, rather than fitting neatly into one category. This complexity may explain why audiences continue feeling so fascinated by him lately. He no longer feels entirely predictable, but unlike earlier years, the unpredictability now comes from emotional depth rather than chaotic energy. Fans aren't only asking, what will Taehyung do next? They're asking, who is Taehyung becoming? And that question may define his entire 2026 era. The Rolling Stone feature also highlighted how massive BTS's comeback momentum has become globally. The magazine's decision to release 8 separate covers demonstrated not only the group's continued cultural influence, but also the enormous individual identities each member now carries independently. Still, Taehyung's cover managed to stand out in a particularly intense way online. Some fans even compared the reaction to major luxury fashion campaigns or Hollywood editorial shoots rather than standard K-pop promotions. That comparison reflects how differently audiences increasingly perceive him, not simply as an idol, not simply as a celebrity, but as an artist building atmosphere around his image itself. And atmosphere may ultimately become Taehyung's greatest strength. Because while trends fade quickly, emotional atmosphere lingers in people's memory much longer. The more fans analyze his recent public appearances, the more consistent the pattern becomes. Quieter energy, stronger emotional impact, minimalistic visuals, cinematic presentation, calm confidence. Everything surrounding Taehyung in 2026 appears connected to the same evolution. An evolution away from needing to constantly demand attention, and toward naturally holding it without effort. As the Rolling Stone covers continue spreading worldwide, one thing feels increasingly clear among fans. This is not simply another comeback photo shoot. For many people, it feels like visual proof that Taehyung has entered an entirely new stage of his career. Not by abandoning who he used to be, but by expanding beyond it. And perhaps that is why the reaction to his cover became so emotional so quickly. Because fans are not only seeing Taehyung promote an album anymore, they feel like they are witnessing someone slowly transform into a much larger artistic figure in real time. A figure harder to define with every passing month. And strangely, that mystery may be exactly what makes him impossible to look away from in 2026.